joining us now is Keith Stallings, who's a landscape designer working with Lake Norman Gardens here in Mooresville. Thanks for joining us, Keith.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on the show.
Certainly.
So let's start off with the history of Lake Norman Gardens and how long they've been around and what exactly you all do over there.
Okay, well, Lake Norman Gardens has actually been in business for about 2 years. Prior to that, it was Perth Lawn and Landscape, which was our owner now, Robbie Grayson's father. And she moved back about 2 years ago and decided to turn it into a little more upscale boutique kind of garden center, kind of a destination garden center per se. And so this was going to be going into our third spring with the business.
And she's expanded quite a bit. I mean, it's kind of a one-stop shop for
Yes,
everything.
most definitely. She's got still further plans for expansion. We've got the garden center itself, and we've in the last year or so got into the design and install business. She's her dig and design business. So that's one of the areas that she's expanded. And then also from the facility standpoint, looking to expand down the road, building a greenhouse, and even possibly an arboretum later down the road.
Wow.
Oh, that would be really nice.
Yes.
Now, you came on with them recently.
Yes, I've been, in April it will be a year
Okay.
that I've been working with Lake Norman Gardens.
And your background?
I've been in the business for about 15 years. I have a degree in horticulture from Central Piedmont Community College in Charlotte. I worked in that area for about, I guess probably about 9 to 10 years in the design business with a few landscape companies in the Charlotte area. And then from there I got on the road and started selling plants, working for a re-wholesaler for about 3 or 4 years, and then decided I wanted to get back into the design end of it. And so that's when I came on board at Lake Norman Gardens to kind of start up the design aspect of the business.
What are you seeing in terms of trends? Because obviously the outdoor living thing is huge now, so I'm sure a lot of people are doing a lot of different kinds of work.
That is one of the biggest trends, you know, outdoor living, people basically transitioning from indoors to outdoors. And the way I've seen it kind of transition, you know, more and more people spending time at home and entertaining with families and family and friends. And they're just looking for other ways to do that, especially during the spring and summer months when it's really nice outside, into the late evenings and stuff, to be able to entertain outside. A lot of people are going different approaches with it by using hardscaping material. When I say hardscaping, I mean like pavers and stone walkways and patios, and even going so far as doing outdoor fire pits, fireplaces, outdoor lighting, furniture, fabrics, and that sort of thing. So you can basically, with all the different types of things available now, you can basically transition the whole room from outside, indoors to outdoors.
So if somebody's doesn't really have anything, you know, they've got, you know, kind of a back door, a couple steps down, and then some yard, and wanted to put in something without spending a huge amount of money, because obviously you could spend almost as much doing an outdoor living area as you could probably remodeling a kitchen if you did it really high end, right? What are some kind of fundamental things that people can do to set up a nice area for them that's going to be functional?
Well, basically one of the first things that I ask people when they want to do something outdoors is basically look from the inside of your house and look outside and kind of decide where you may want to do maybe an outdoor room possibly. And then from that standpoint, you know, kind of start to plan for that. It doesn't necessarily mean put it in walkways or pavers to start with, but you may want to just try putting some outdoor furniture in that spot to see if that's really where you want to consider it. If you like that, maybe add some planters, or just for a temporary aspect. Or if you even wanted to start putting in a couple of shade trees, if it's in the sun area and you want to add some shade, or some ornamental trees, that might be beneficial also. So you can kind of start looking at it from that aspect and then kind of build from there. Exactly. I mean, if you're in the point of that you want to actually do a landscape plan, you can kind of always plan, you know, let your landscape designer, whomever they may be, decide, you know, what area that you're going to be planning for their outdoor living, and then work that into the plan.
Different phases.
Yeah,
Different
that makes
phases,
sense.
exactly.
Now, the other trend I see a lot is people are really getting into the gardening, having their own gardens, sustainable gardens, growing more fruits and vegetables.
Right.
What are you seeing, and what do you recommend as great crops per se for this area?
Well, in our particular area, it seems like a lot of people have really gotten involved in it in the last couple of years, especially with the economy the way it is, and more and more people are looking to do their own vegetables and then their own fruit trees and so forth. One of the things that I've seen that a lot of people are really interested in are the raised bed type aspects, because they have such limited space, and our soils here tend to be so clayish that it really does take some time to, you know, get a get the ground prepared properly to even grow vegetables, much less shrubs and so forth, shrubs and trees. So an idea that we have is like these earth boxes that a lot of people are really going towards now, where it's basically a raised planter bed, and you basically just put the right amendments in there for what you're going to be growing, whether it be vegetables.
Bring the soil and everything in.
Yep, just basically build up the bed into a 4x4 timber walk bed. Typically, you don't want to have them more than 4 feet wide, just from the ability to be able to reach across the box itself.
Okay.
And what about fruit trees? Are there fruit trees that do better, or for the
Well,
novice?
there's so many different varieties of fruit trees. When you get into you have the dwarf trees on up to the regular standard trees. Anytime when you're dealing with fruits and that sort of thing, you've always got the aspects of they're a little more involved as far as taking care of them. They're more prone to insects and that sort of thing. So you've got to do more spraying on the trees and so forth. And then when you start doing that, more and more people are more inclined to have them because they want to look at the organic aspect of it and not use the herbicides and pesticides that a lot of people use in orchards and so forth. But in a lot of ways, it's really not much way to get around that. You still got to find some way to take care of the trees themselves.